I want to talk today about a little streaming service that's really nostalgic for me, not because it's been around for a long time, but just simply because it carries many of the different series that I guess I grew up with, as well as some that are older, and it presents it in a format that's very familiar to the way I used to watch TV in the early 2000s, and the way that not many people really watch TV anymore, and that's to say that it's watched through a channel-type service, rather than simply being on demand. In other words, you're at the mercy of whatever is randomly on that channel. So that app is Pluto TV. Now, some of you may have heard of it, but I feel like it's a shame that more of you haven't. And this isn't a sponsored video in any way. This is a completely free service that I've really enjoyed over the past year, and I think more people should be aware of. So as I'm showing here, this is the Xbox One app. They have an app for, the Fire Stick and all sorts of different platforms you would typically stream on, your Netflix and whatnot. So you download the Pluto TV app and you take a look at an interface that looks like this. Obviously, this is your classic cable TV look of, the 2010s. If you haven't had cable TV in a while, I think it's kind of refreshing to be able to just pick a channel and watch something without really having to think too much into it and kind of being able to passively watch it. So a lot of the different things on this service you can tell are older, things you probably aren't aware of. But what really draws my interest is both the anime and gaming section, the kids section, and of course the sports section, because I'm a huge football fan. So there's different shows on the anime and gaming section, particularly the anime, where there's a channel that plays basically non-stop anime. I see Yu-Gi-Oh! Cycled in there, but also things like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Bakugan, just a bunch of different shows where it's playing random episodes. If you're really trying to follow the storyline, this is not the way to watch it. But again, I like to throw these on and be able to just have something on in the background while I'm doing something else, or maybe while I'm playing the Nintendo Switch. Not really have to think too far into what I'm watching or get too invested into it. And then of course the sports section I really like, because like you saw, there's NFL replays on there where they actually have like an hour and a half long version of some of the better NFL games in the past 20 years. Seems like most of them aren't pre-2000s, and really there aren't even that many that air in 480p, so most of them I'd say are 2008 or later. And there's a lot of good games in there that I've never seen, because maybe it's a week 8 game between two teams that didn't make the playoffs, but it was a down to the wire game and they have it edited and shortened for you to watch in there. And then, of course, the kids section. Maybe this is just something I'm oblivious to, but I don't really know where's a good place to look to actually stream Nickelodeon content. So there's actually a wealth of it on here, just playing again at random on the Nickelodeon channel. Now, this doesn't mirror the true Nickelodeon channel. In fact, none of these do. They're Pluto exclusive channels, and they kind of play their own circulation of content. But I've seen things like iCarly on here, of course, a lot of different animated series that Nick has put out. I don't recall having seen SpongeBob, but I have, seen plenty of other great Nickelodeon series be rotated through here as they just kind of play again at random without any regard to the story. And a lot of those classic Nickelodeon kids shows oftentimes just had one cohesive story within an episode. It's really not a matter of, if you watch all of the season in order. That really wasn't a big deal back then. And again, I think that plays very well into this. Now, you probably saw as I was flipping through the channels there, some shows have their own dedicated channels. In particular, I want to note that Naruto and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles do, as well as Dora if you have younger kids that want to watch that. So if you're fans of any of those franchises, the fact that they have their own dedicated channels where it's just strictly playing their content, again, those episodes just at random. So for a free service, particularly when we don't have to create an account even to utilize, I don't think you can go wrong by at least checking out Pluto. And I think that, this window of time, 1:30 in the afternoon when I recorded this, doesn't maybe give the best idea of all the content that it offers. It does have an on-demand section, though I would say that's very passable, and I wouldn't even take much of a look at the on-demand section. A lot of the things that are on the on-demand there, as far as the movies and the TV shows go, are things that have been free on-demand on other platforms before, or they still are. I'm talking about things, where it was free on IMDb, because they have their own free streaming service, so maybe it's free over there. Maybe it's free on YouTube, because there are free movies and whatnot to watch on YouTube, though most of them aren't ones you'd be super excited about, but there may be some hidden in there that you could enjoy. So if you're looking for the classic Saturday morning cartoon feel pretty much whenever you want, which was the selling point of Cartoon Network back in the day, I think that Pluto is definitely worth checking out. Now, of course, I do have a cable service. I could just turn on Cartoon Network today. I could watch that instead, but a lot of the stuff on there isn't things I want to watch. Many of these older shows that air on Pluto from the late 90s, early 2000s are more of the shows that I'm nostalgic for. I'm not too into wanting to watch things like Gumball or whatever else they have on Cartoon Network here post-regular show era, because those just aren't shows that I feel like are made to the same quality or treat the audience with the same level of intelligence that I think these shows did back in the day. So if you want to watch something that's just nostalgic like this and this older feeling of early 2000s television, just being able to scroll through some channels and see what's upcoming, I think that Pluto is a great way to go about doing that. And of course, it doesn't cost you anything to do so. So I highly recommend checking it out. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Bailey, and I will see you in the next video.